AI governance is like a hot tub. Step 2. In the last conversation, we talked about governance as the foundation, the concrete slab beneath the hot tub, the structural base, the thing that holds everything steady. But here's what most organizations misunderstand: writing the governance framework is not the end, it's only step 1. Because even with a perfect foundation, a hot tub sitting alone in your backyard isn't yet usable. You still need stairs to access it, a guardrail so people don't slip, lighting so you can see at night, maybe a privacy fence, maybe even a towel heater for after you get out. Those things don't make the tub stronger. They make the environment usable without injury. AI governance works exactly the same way. After the framework is written, you need usage architecture. And that is where most failures occur. So let's start with something practical. You don't jump into a hot tub from standing at ground level. You install stairs. Why? Because elevation requires intentional access. AI systems are also elevated systems. They influence hiring, pricing, scheduling, approvals, triage, compliance. You cannot allow unstructured jumping into that environment. So, what are stairs in AI governance? Define user access levels, clear onboarding processes, explicit training before usage, role based permissions, who can use the system for what tasks under what constraints. Without stairs, access becomes ad hoc, and ad hoc access leads to shadow deployment, misuse, unintended escalation of automation scope. Access architecture is not bureaucracy, it's friction aligned to consequence. If your AI system influences operational decisions, users should climb into it deliberately, not tumble in casually. Now, picture someone stepping into the hot tub at night. Wet surface, limited visibility. A guardrail exists for stability. It prevents slips when weight shifts unexpectedly. AI guardrails serve a similar purpose. They are the operational boundaries inside which the system is allowed to act. Guardrails include confidence thresholds before automated execution, escalation triggers when uncertainty exceeds tolerance, human in the loop checkpoints for high impact decisions, override mechanisms. Without guardrails, a system might technically operate as designed, but drift into action sequences that were never fully anticipated. For example, an AI tool authorized to optimize workflow efficiency may begin restructuring processes in ways that increase short term speed but introduce long term compliance exposure. It followed the objective, but without boundary definition, optimization overreaches. Guardrails don't stop use, they stabilize it. Then, no one enjoys stepping into a hot tub in total darkness. Lighting allows visibility. You can see depth, you can see movement, you can see who is entering. AI systems require the equivalent of lighting: logging, monitoring dashboards, performance metrics, drift alerts, audit trails. Without monitoring visibility, systems may operate at scale without anyone seeing degradation patterns. This is where organizations get surprised, not because the model malfunctioned, but because no one was watching subtle changes. Lightning does not prevent water from heating, it prevents invisible risk. AI governance without monitoring is like soaking in darkness and assuming stability. It feels calm until it isn't. Now consider something optional but very important: a privacy fence. If you don't install it because the hot tub is dangerous. You install it because context matters. Exposure changes behavior. AI governance must also define context boundaries. Can the system access internal confidential data? Can it connect to external APIs? Is it allowed to generate outbound communication automatically or permit it to retrain itself on user interactions? Contextual containment prevents cross domain contamination. Just because a system can technically connect across systems doesn't mean it should. Governance defines containment perimeters. Optional doesn't mean unnecessary, it means thoughtful. Now let's talk about some people rarely connect to governments: comfort. When you exit a hot tub into freezing air, the experience shifts. So you add a towel warmer, a robe hook, a transition space. In AI systems, there is also a human transition layer, clear explanation interfaces, interpretable outputs, user education about system limitations, guidance about uncertainty. If users step out of AI assisted workflow confused, overconfident, or unaware of system limitation, behavioral risk increases. Governance is not only about preventing harm, it's about shaping user understanding. A confident system that does not communicate uncertainty invites overtrust. User experience design is governance because perception shapes our oversight. Most organizations install AI, very few integrate it. Installation is technical connection. Integration is structural embedding with oversight architecture. You can install a hot tub in a weekend. You integrate it into your home environment over time. Maintenance routines, safety expectations. AI governance, step two is integration discipline. Training programs, escalation pathways, continuous review cycles, defined shutdown authority. The framework document is a beginning. Real governance shows up in how people use the system daily. Most organizations stop at the foundation. They write policy, they publish guidelines, they declare oversight. Then they connect AI tools broadly without access discipline, boundary enforcement, visibility mechanisms, user friction design. It looks controlled, but it functions like an elevated pool with no stairs, no rail, no lighting. When incidents happen, organizations blame the water, but water behaves predictably. Environment determines safety. AI systems behave probabilistically. Environment determines impact. So, yes, if governance is the concrete slab, step two is access design. Stairs for deliberate entry, guardrails for stability, lighting for visibility, containment for privacy, human transition design for comfort and understanding. Governance is not a file or a document. It is the structure that surrounds capability. Because installing power into an environment without designing how humans interact with it is not innovation, it's just exposure. Responsible AI governance isn't about resisting the hot tub. It's about building the environment around it properly. Because once it's warm and running, people will use it. And the question becomes, did you design for safety before they stepped in?